to be successful, all you have to really do is just make it unreasonable for you to fail. So what does that mean? Well, this applies to basically everything in life, but I'm just going to relate it to the things that matter the most to me and what I use it to think about. So, first of all, with the gym or fitness, if I'm defining success as me being in, my dream physique and being healthy, then what would I have to do in order to make it impossible for me to not obtain that? Well, I think with the gym it's quite obvious, right? If I just went to the gym at least 4 times in a week and ate clean and ate clean 90% of the time, then for me, in a couple of years, it would be impossible for me to not be in my dream physique and be healthy. Obviously, that time period is going to be different for everyone, but if you just stick with it for however long is required for you, then it is literally impossible for you to not get there. And I think this is a really good way of thinking about things, because it kind of eliminates like any doubt, because if you know what you need to do to make it unreasonable for you to not get whatever you want, then by doing that you kind of guarantee success, because you guarantee not failing, right? So moving on, so if your goal is to have a lot of money, then again, what would you have to do to make it unreasonable for you to not have a lot of money? Well, if you first of all stopped wasting time on doing things that didn't move you towards making money, if you just picked a high income skill and just focused on putting the reps into learning that every single day for a long enough time, it would be impossible for you to not get better at that, to the point where you can eventually monetize it and make a lot of money from it. It is literally impossible, because once you start, the feedback loop starts, and from there it's only going to be continuous improvement. So again, it's just such a good way of thinking about things, because you just know what to do. So I think the only difficult part with this is just starting, right? Because in the beginning, with something new, you have no idea what you're doing, and you probably like Googling or YouTubing, like where do you even start? But that's the only difficult part, because once you get past that, like I said, the feedback loop starts, and now you're just learning from your past mistakes, and eventually by just being in that space more, whether that's for example like programming or whatever it may be, eventually you'll just start to like find people in that region, in that area as well, and you'll be learning from your own mistakes, and so it's impossible for you to get worse at something that you're doing consistently. So whatever it is that you want to do or be good at, literally just think about what you would have to do to make it impossible for you to not obtain that, or to not be but yeah, something that's really helped me though is just thinking about the fact that everyone that's achieved something worthwhile in their life, at some point in their life they were 10 years old. And this kind of sounds silly maybe, but it's really helpful for me. So at some point in their life they were 10 years old, and at some point in my life and in your life we were 10 years old. So at 10 years old they didn't have the knowledge that they have now, which helped them to reach that level of success, right? But they were able to gain that success, and there were people who have had way less than me when they started out, and they were able to reach that level of success. So if they can do it, then so can I, because at some point in our lives we were at the exact same journey. If I may have even had an advantage with like the things I had in my life, or whatever it may be, but yeah, like if they can reach that level of success, then so can I. But yeah, this